Hey, what is up everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at HBAR, which is currently up 3%. Now the entire market is seeing a nice pump to the upside. We have Bitcoin up to $85,000, up 2% today. And yeah, as I said, all the coins are absolutely tearing it through. Now, before we jump into exactly where HBAR and a few other altcoins could be going over the next few days and weekend, make sure you guys go check out the Discord down below. It'll be the first link in the description, and you can see on the screen right now just how many trades our members have been winning from simply joining up and starting to copy and paste the trades that we're sending out to them every single day. So yeah, make sure you join up, first link in the description. Now back to HBAR. So overall HBAR has been performing relatively well. It's slightly underperforming today in comparison to the entire market, although I think it is significantly underperforming. You know, a lot of coins are up way over 5% and HBAR is barely sitting on 3% gain. So whilst it is slightly underperforming, I think it still has a lot of potential. To quickly recap how we've been entering into HBAR, our initial entry was at 22 cents right here, and then we had a second DCA entry over here on this Fibonacci level at just under 18 cents. So yeah, we're currently down a bit. I think our average entry is at roughly 19 cents because we entered with 50% more capital over here at 18. So we're currently down how much? Roughly 8 to 10%, which on spot isn't too tragic, you know, where the risk to reward is really good here. So we're targeting a 2x or 111% profit. To be risking, 10%, which we're at right now, isn't too bad. We do have another DCA level which was very close to being hit, and that was right here at just under 12 cents. If this would have been hit, our average entry would be like 13 cents, somewhere around here, and we'd be up significantly, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But regardless, the pump is still happening, and I think it's quite interesting to see how this pump is actually happening, because if we take a look at Bitcoin, which essentially controls all other coins, we'll see obviously with tariff news and everything like that, we started crashing down and we hit 74,000, which again, I said either 74 or 69,000 will be the bottom, but I still think we could go lower, and I will jump into exactly why in just a second. But we hit 74, Trump paused the tariffs on all countries except for China, and then we started pumping back up, and we could potentially see 89, maybe 91,000 down over the coming days and week, but it is a resistance level, so that's not to say we're going to see 90,000 and really continue soaring like this. We're most likely going to see something like this, where we come up, resist this level, maybe slightly higher, and then come back down. And the reason I don't think we've fully bottomed in yet is because of the tariffs with China. Now there's still, I think the market thinks it's over certain right now. The tariffs with China are massive. It's a huge trade war. The repercussions of those tariffs aren't yet priced in and aren't yet enforced, in my opinion. The S&P from its highs is currently down 12%. It was down 20%. But what a lot of people don't fully understand is, we have to sort of go into the economics of the stocks right now, as it correlates as well with crypto. But what a lot of people don't understand is that now with these tariffs, it's not going to be, right this second, right instantly, that these companies like Apple, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, huge companies in the S&P which control the entire US stock market. It's not like they're going to see, losses and drops in profit and drops in revenue right this second. It's going to take a few months, maybe a quarter, maybe two, and in those Q3, Q4 earnings reports, when they come out, in 4-8 months time, that's when we're going to see huge losses, because to get tariffed 100%, which they're climbing, it's probably going to be 200% in a few weeks. To get tariffed just 100%, the consumers are going to have to be paying extra for those, which is probably going to drop order quantities, might drop revenue, consumers might overall stop buying, and yeah, it's going to be tragic for those companies if they're unable to start manufacturing in the US, which, by the way, there's not the right infrastructure there right now. It doesn't take a week to set up huge manufacturing facilities. China have been working on that for decades, for as long as a lot of people have been alive. It takes a lot of time to fully develop the infrastructure, to develop those manufacturing facilities as well, and I think those companies are going to struggle if Trump isn't able to pull up a deal, which I think he will, but until then, until that deal comes, I don't think we've fully bottomed in. So the market might right now be pricing in a deal that's happening, but of course it's very difficult to fully judge that. But of course it's very difficult to fully judge that, as we don't know what's happening inside the White House. So until that deal comes through, I still think we're bearish. When that deal comes through, we instantly flip to bullish. And another thing you have to remember is the FOMC meetings that we have in May, June and July. So obviously Trump needs Biden's rate cuts. We've gone over this so many times. He might be waiting to postpone, you know, the deal with China. He might already have a deal, but he might just be waiting to postpone the announcement of it until we get an initial rate cut. Because once we get those rate cuts, Trump is going to become much easier to negotiate with, as he won't be having to force his hand as much. So once those rate cuts come, it's going to be a snowball effect. If the China deal comes before the rate cuts, we might see, you know, delays in rate cuts. And the Fed, I don't think, gets along very well with Donald Trump, and they don't see the market as he does. So maybe they are postponing as well. It's a huge game right now of mind games, and obviously the market was pricing it in with a 20% deficit. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this week. But as I said, Bitcoin right now has a good trajectory, can probably carry on going to 91,000, maybe even 92. But until those deals come, we're going to see a claw back down. As for HBAR, I think the same can happen, you know. It can probably climb to 22 cents, which is going to be like, what, a how much is that, 8%, a 26% move up. So a very good move up, and then it might come down. You know, we're currently sort of speculating on the very short term aspect. Our long-term position, which we've been DCing into, we're only targeting 40 cents and higher. You know, we're not looking for this 50-70% profit. We're looking for at least a 2.5x. So this short-term fluctuation doesn't really make a difference to us unless it's to the downside, in which case we're DCing lower, and that's very important, and that's what we're going to be keeping an eye on this week. So yeah, I do think we can go higher this week. We're going to be looking for positions. Again, if you want to be copying all the trades that I'm taking and my team is taking, check out the Discord down below. Over the past few months, we've had over an 85% win rate, meaning for every 10 trades you enter, 8.5 will win. So yeah, make sure you join up. We've been crushing it. First link in the description. And other coins I'm going to be keeping an eye on this week will include Doge, also again climbing back up nicely. Dog with Hat, this always makes huge numbers, but very good for shorts. Whenever it climbs up like this and we start crashing back down, Dog with Hat is very good for shorting. Fetch as well, making nice moves up today, 8%. Again, really low, still needs to continue going up. API 3 had great momentum. Will be interesting to see if we're able to claw it back in, maybe find some short positions there. XRP at a resistance level right now. Will be interesting to see whether it breaks through or not. Sui just broke through this resistance at this support level right now. Maybe we climb to 280 on that. Render climbing quite nicely as well. No major support or resistances yet, just because of how it fluctuated. Polkadot at this support right now. Again, you know, major resistance is gonna be like $5.30 now, which is still a while away. AVAX actually climbing up very well, up 8% today to over $20. Great to see. Solana also making great moves, up over $130, approaching a resistance at 133. Ethereum, very slow mover, but it is still very undervalued. Will be interesting to see how this reacts later on in the market. And Bitcoin we've already talked about. So yeah, pretty simple weekend and analysis on the week. If you did enjoy though, please do make sure to like and subscribe, as it does help out a ton. And if you need a place to buy, sell or trade cryptocurrency for the lowest fees with the best sign up bonuses, then check out all the exchanges we're working with down below. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye guys.